These attacks on you, I have to ask you, you're a religious man. Do these attacks make you want to speak out more and do more, or do they cause you to second guess coming out and talking like this?
No, they make me recognize what serious trouble we're in. And what has really brought it home to me is, I've gotten so many letters of support or phone calls or emails from people who believe similarly but are afraid to speak out because they think there may be retribution. And basically it proves what I was saying at the National Prayer Breakfast, that political correctness is threatening to destroy our nation because it puts a muzzle over honest conversation. And the fabric of our nation is changed without the benefit of a conversation.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right. They don't want a conversation, do they? They don't want us to engage. In fact, they
No, they want to shut us up completely.
Yeah.
And that's why the attacks against me have been so vicious, because I represent, an existential threat to them. They need to shut me up. They need to get rid of me. They can't find anything else to delegitimize me, so they take my words, misinterpret them, and try to make it seem that I'm a bigot.
You're attacked also in many respects because of your race, because you're not supposed to think like this and talk like this. A lot of white liberals just don't like it, do they?
Well, they're the most racist people there are, because they put you in a little category, a little box. You have to think this way. How could you dare come off the plantation?
You've been on networks like MSNBC. I mean, that's not really a news network. That's just a bunch of leftist hosts who dress up as phony reporters and attack guests they don't like and so forth. Is that something you're going to continue to do? You think taking your case to those places is worthwhile?
Well, I'm not afraid of any of them, because, for me it's very easy. All I have to do is tell the truth. I don't have a particular agenda that I'm pushing, so it's going to be pretty difficult for them to trip me up. I'm going to just tell the truth, and I'll tell the truth wherever I go, on a liberal media or on a conservative media.
After you spoke at the National Prayer event and you sat down, did the president say anything to you, or they just ignored you pretty much?
No, he came over. He came over and shook my hand and said he appreciated me being there. Mm-hmm. He didn't say he appreciated the speech, but he did appreciate me being there.
Did you ever hear from the White House after that?
No, I haven't heard a word since then.
Mm-hmm. Nobody told you what you could or couldn't say, or did they when you went there?
Well, I mean, there were some who said, make sure that you don't give a political speech, and make sure, that you don't offend the president.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you don't.
The way I kind of look at it, I was there talking about some of the very serious issues that threaten the fabric of our nation, diagnosing a severe problem that is spiritual as well. And some people said, well, why did you bring up, the Bible and God? Duh, it's a prayer breakfast. You can do that. But, it's just so interesting, the way that people think or don't think.
Well, what's amazing to me is we have this Bill of Rights, we have the First Amendment, we have this tradition of free speech, and some of the speech is absolutely awful and horrific. And you speak what are basically about traditional values, traditional principles, the principles that undergird this society and our founding, and somehow this is controversial.
Isn't that amazing? But I'll tell you what also I found fascinating is all of the communications I've gotten from elderly, particularly Americans, who said they had totally given up until now. Now they felt maybe there was just a ray of hope. They thought our country was gone. And a lot of people have been just bludgeoned into silence. It amazes me. Some of the letters I get from students on campuses, they just feel that they can't speak out or they're going to have retribution. It's awful what's going on in our nation. Freedom of speech has been totally forgotten about.
Are you going to be giving that commencement speech or not at Johns Hopkins?
To be determined. It's still up in the air. There were 8 students who signed a petition, and that was not from the graduating class. That was from all the classes. That was what they could come up with. There are others who feel very strongly in the other direction. But, I'm going to wait and see. I think it's a wonderful opportunity, quite frankly, for a university to use a thermometer and to gauge its own feelings toward some of the liberties that are so much expressed in higher education.